Humans entered Dominion space on a quiet dark day when the stars seemed to hold their breath. Every ship in the area stopped moving for a moment, as if the galaxy itself did not believe what it was seeing. For centuries, no species had dared to cross the Dominion border. Those who tried never returned. Everyone believed the same thing: the Dominion controlled everything. No one challenged them. No one resisted. No one even thought about walking into their territory by choice. But now, a single human ship moved across the emptiness. Slow, steady, calm. Inside the ship, the humans stood at their stations without fear. Each one looked focused, almost relaxed, while the sensors warned them that thousands of eyes were watching. The Dominion had already locked weapons on them. The humans knew this. Yet none of them looked worried. The ship's commander, Captain Raylan, watched the large metallic gates of the Dominion border grow bigger on the screen. They were cold, silver, and shaped like the jaws of some giant creature. The gates opened only when the Dominion wanted them to open, and today they opened for the humans. No one understood why. On the other side of the gate, a massive Dominion platform waited. It was filled with alien soldiers from many species the Dominion had conquered. Their armor shined like black stone. Their faces were unreadable. Some had glowing eyes, some had no eyes at all, but all of them expected one thing: fear. They expected the humans to tremble, kneel, or cry out. That was what every other species did when they arrived. The human ship landed with a soft thud. The air around the platform vibrated with energy. The Dominion commander stepped forward, tall and terrifying, with 4 arms and dark red armor. His voice echoed across the platform when he spoke. Humans. You have crossed into the Dominion. Every species kneels when they arrive. You will kneel, too. The humans stepped out of their ship one by one. Their boots hit the ground with steady confidence. Not one of them bent their head. Not one knee touched the floor. They simply stood and looked at the commander as if he was nothing more than an obstacle in their path. The aliens in the crowd whispered in shock. This had never happened before. The commander lifted all 4 arms, confused and insulted. Why do you refuse? Do you not understand the power that stands before you? Captain Raylan stepped forward. His face was calm, his voice steady. We understand. We simply do not bow to threats. The air around them grew colder, filled with an invisible force. The Dominion was activating its fear aura. It was an ancient weapon, older than their empire itself. It reached into the minds of other beings and crushed their will. Many species fainted in seconds. Others cried and begged. But the humans remained still. One alien guard gasped. Another stepped back in confusion. The commander narrowed his eyes and increased the strength of the aura. The ground shook. The energy grew heavier. The platform walls hummed with pressure. Still, the humans did not move. Captain Raylan blinked once, slowly, as if bored. Is this your strongest welcome? For the first time in many years, fear touched the Dominion, not the visitors. The commander lowered the aura, trying to understand what he was facing. No species can stand against that force. How are you doing this? Raylan answered quietly, humans learn to live with fear. We do not let it rule us. The Dominion soldiers tightened their grips on their weapons. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Humans were supposed to be weak creatures from a distant blue planet, nothing special, nothing dangerous. But the way they stood there, calm and steady, made the aliens nervous. A loud alarm suddenly blasted across the platform. Red lights flashed everywhere. Dominion text appeared in the air. Level black alert, human resistance detected. Unknown threat signature. Aliens began to shout and run toward control stations. Scientists rushed in, scanning the humans quickly. Their devices beeped in panic. Commander, they are emitting energy. But it is not from weapons. It is from their bodies. How? The commander growled. We do not know, the scientist whispered. Captain Raylan did not move. We came in peace. You are the ones trying to break us. The commander stared at him. He wanted to order the humans' execution. He wanted to show strength. But something in Raylan's eyes stopped him. Humans were not afraid. They were not confused. They were not lost. They were exactly where they wanted to be. A strange silence fell over the platform. Everyone waited. The commander finally said, "Very well. If you refuse to kneel, then you will face the trial chamber. No one has ever passed it." Raylan answered, "We will." One of the Dominion guards whispered to another, "They will die in minutes." The other guard swallowed. "I do not think so." As the humans were led deeper into the Dominion station, every alien watched them go. No screams. No trembling. Only calm steps echoing through the metal halls. For the first time in Dominion history, the rulers began to feel something they had never felt before. Doubt. And in the shadows above the chamber doors, something else woke up, an ancient system that had been sleeping for centuries. It recognized the humans. It scanned their minds. It murmured silently in the old Dominion language. They are the ones. The Dominion guards surrounded the humans and guided them through a long metallic hallway. The air inside the station felt colder, darker, and heavier with every step they took. Strange symbols glowed on the walls, shifting like they were alive. Most visitors collapsed before even reaching the trial chamber, but the humans walked calmly, like they were taking a peaceful stroll. The guards kept glancing at them, waiting for someone to faint or panic. No one did. Captain Raylan walked in front, his eyes scanning the environment, studying everything with quiet focus. His team followed close behind, silent and alert. As they approached the chamber doors, one guard whispered to another, "Do they not feel anything?" The other guard shook his head. "They are hiding it. They must be." But his voice trembled. He did not believe his own words. The huge doors slid open with a low metallic roar. The trial chamber was a massive circular room filled with glowing machines and ancient towers that pulsed with psychic energy. The walls looked like mirrors made of fog, constantly shifting and watching. The Dominion High Lord himself waited inside, standing on a raised platform. His presence made the air feel even heavier. "Humans," the High Lord said slowly, "this chamber has broken every species that entered it. Empires have fallen here. Spirits have shattered here. Do you understand where you stand?" Captain Raylan answered softly, "We understand." The High Lord narrowed his eyes. "Then the test begins." The room suddenly changed. A deep vibration echoed through the floor. The light dimmed until everything looked like a fading dream. A thick wave of psychic pressure rolled over the humans, sharp and cold like invisible claws. Most beings who entered this room had screamed in the first second, their minds unable to resist even the first layer of the test. The humans did not scream. They did not move at all. Only their eyes shifted slightly as the energy grew stronger. The High Lord raised an arm. "Increase level 2. The walls flickered. A second wave of fear crashed into the humans, stronger than the first. The pressure was so dense that the guards outside felt dizzy just watching. 2 of them had to lean on their staffs to stay standing. Still, the humans did not react. Raylan simply breathed in and out, steady and slow. Behind him, his team copied him. It looked like a practiced ritual, like they had trained for this exact moment. The High Lord frowned. Level 3. A third wave hit them. This one carried visions, shadows, monsters, and distortions meant to force the mind into terror. The fog on the walls twisted into shapes of death and destruction. The room shook as the energy rose. One Dominion scientist whispered, "This is impossible. No creature has ever reached level 3 without collapsing." But humans were still standing. For the first time, a hint of confusion appeared on the High Lord's face. "Explain yourselves. Why do you not break? What makes your mind so resistant?" Raylan replied, "Because fear is not new to us. We were born in danger. We grew in storms. We learned to survive everything our own world threw at us." Another human added quietly, "We face worse nightmares inside our memories." The scientists exchanged terrified looks. "Commander, their brain activity is rising but not in panic. They are adapting to the fear aura." "Adapting?" the High Lord growled. "No one adapts to this. Increase level 4. The room exploded with psychic power. The walls turned black. Echoes of screams from past victims filled the air. Every inch of the chamber pulsed with raw terror. Even the Dominion guards outside had to step back. 2 fell to their knees. 1 cried out in pain. But humans stood tall. Captain Raylan's face remained calm, but something new appeared in his eyes, something the Dominion did not understand. Not fear. Not pain. Memory. The aura was pulling memories from the humans, trying to break them with their own past. But what the Dominion did not know was that humans carried stories of war, sacrifice, fire, storms, and endless struggle. Their memories were both terrifying and powerful. Raylan saw flashes of burning forests. A lost battle on Earth. A friend he could not save. His fists tightened slightly, but he stayed firm. Another human remembered the dark ocean waves that almost took her life when she was young. But instead of falling, she lifted her chin higher. The Dominion did not understand. They thought fear destroyed. But for humans, fear also shaped. The High Lord's voice shook with frustration. Level 5. Maximum. A new alarm sounded. Dominion systems warned, danger. Level 5 is not stable. Risk of chamber failure. Do it, the High Lord roared. The energy surged like a storm. The psychic force was so strong that the fog mirrors cracked. The ground shook violently. Even the High Lord stumbled. But the humans did not bend, did not kneel, did not show fear. Instead, a soft glow began forming around them. It started small, like sparks of light, then grew brighter. The Dominion scientists gasped. "Commander, they are generating counter-energy." The High Lord stared in disbelief. "They resist us?" "No," Raylan answered quietly, stepping forward through the storm, "we overcome you." The psychic field shattered like glass. The chamber lights exploded. Every Dominion guard fell back. The High Lord took a step away without meaning to. Silence fell. The humans stood unharmed in the center of the broken chamber. The High Lord whispered, "What are you?" Raylan looked at him with calm, steady eyes. "Human." A final alarm echoed through the station. An ancient voice from the Dominion main core spoke. "Warning. Humans have reached resistance threshold. Initiate protocol, mirror path." The High Lord's face turned pale. The guards panicked. The scientists backed away. No species had ever been sent to the mirror path. Because none had ever survived long enough to reach it. The Dominion guards moved quickly now. Their steps were sharp and nervous, their eyes filled with something they had never felt inside their own empire, fear. Not fear of the humans. Fear of the system that had just awakened. The mirror path was not a normal test. It was old, older than the Dominion itself, built by the first rulers who believed fear was the greatest weapon in the galaxy. No species had ever reached the point where the mirror path was activated. Most collapsed long before. Some begged for mercy. Others lost their minds. The mirror path was a trial meant only for monsters or gods. Yet here stood ordinary humans, calm and breathing steady as they were led to it. Captain Raylan walked silently beside his team. His face was unreadable, but inside his mind he was calculating, observing every detail. The Dominion was powerful, but their reactions told a different story. They were afraid of their own creation. The hall leading to the mirror path felt colder than any place the humans had been so far. It was long, narrow, and dark, lit only by soft blue lights that flickered like dying stars. Strange whispers echoed through the metal walls, whispers that did not come from any living creature. One of the scientists marched beside them, shaking with every step. "You do not understand what waits inside," he whispered. Raylan answered calmly, "We understand enough." "No," the scientist said, stepping in front of him. "You don't. The mirror path shows your deepest fear. It breaks your mind from the inside. Your biggest enemy will not be us. It will be your own memories." Raylan looked at him. "We've survived our memories before." The scientist stared at him, confused. How? How can a species survive constant fear? Raylan replied quietly, "By learning from it." They reached a huge circular door. It was covered with silver cracks that glowed like lightning. The door vibrated as if something behind it was alive and breathing. The guard stepped back, letting the humans stand in front. A voice came from the shadows. The Dominion High Lord appeared again, his armor darker and his expression tight with tension. "Humans. This is your last chance," he said. "Turn back. Kneel. Submit. I will forget what happened in the chamber." Raylan shook his head. "We don't kneel." The High Lord glared. "Then the mirror path will end you." Raylan looked at the door. "Open it." The High Lord hesitated, then gave the signal. The door opened with a long, painful sound. Inside, the space looked impossibly large, like it stretched into infinity. The floor was made of reflective black glass that showed no reflection. The air inside felt heavy, thick, and ancient. One human stepped forward, a woman named Mara. She looked into the darkness and whispered, "It feels like the air is watching us." Raylan nodded. "Stay together. No matter what we see." The High Lord spoke from behind them. "You cannot stop the path. Each of you will face it alone." Raylan didn't look back. "We're never alone." The humans stepped into the chamber. The door closed behind them. At first, nothing happened. The darkness was complete, silent, and endless. But then the floor beneath them came alive with light, soft, white lines spreading across the glass like veins. The temperature dropped. Their breaths turned to mist. And then the voices began. Not alien voices. Human voices. Mara froze as she heard her mother calling her name. A voice she had not heard in years, not since she lost her in a fire back on Earth. Mara's heart tightened. She looked around, but she was alone. Raylan had vanished. The floor beneath her changed, turning into burning wood. Smoke filled the air. She felt the heat. She felt the fear. She felt herself falling back into that moment when she was a child. But then she whispered, "This is not real." She kneeled and touched the burning floor. Her hand passed right through it. The illusion broke. The floor returned to black glass. Far away, Raylan faced his own memory. A battlefield. Smoke. Shouts. The face of a soldier he failed to save. He felt guilt rise inside him like a wave. The mirror path tried to crush him with the weight of his regret. But Raylan breathed out slowly. "I carry this memory. But it doesn't control me." The battlefield dissolved into mist. Each human faced something different. A fear from childhood, a moment of failure, a memory that hurt. The mirror path tried everything: pain, guilt, loneliness, loss. But humans were not like the others. Their memories hurt them, but they also made them stronger. One by one, each human broke the illusions. And then something happened that no one expected. The mirror path itself reacted. The glass floor lit up brighter, as if trying to understand these strange creatures who refused to break. Lines of glowing symbols formed around the humans, scanning their hearts, their minds, their memories. A voice spoke through the darkness. It was not dominion. It was older, deeper. You carry fear, but also hope. Raylan turned slowly. Who are you? I am the first one, the voice said. The creator of this path. The one who built the test of fear. Raylan felt the energy change. It no longer felt hostile. It felt curious. For ages, all who entered broke. They feared themselves more than us, the voice continued. But you, humans, you walk with your fear. You do not run from it. Raylan stepped forward. Fear teaches us. Pain shapes us. The ancient voice went silent for a long moment. Then it said something that froze even the air. Humans, you are the first to survive the mirror path. The walls of darkness slowly melted into light. The illusions vanished. The humans appeared together again, standing on solid ground. The mirror path opened a new door in front of them, a door that had never opened for anyone. Behind the closed chamber door, the Dominion soldiers waited, trembling, certain they would hear human screams. But what they heard instead was the deep sound of the mirror path unlocking. And they were not ready for what would step out. When the door of the mirror path opened, the Dominion guards stepped back as if a ghost had appeared. Their weapons shook in their hands. The High Lord himself froze, unable to speak. No being in history had ever walked out of that chamber alive. Yet there the humans stood, calm, steady, unharmed. Captain Raylan stepped forward first. His eyes glowed faintly, as if he had seen something greater than the Dominion itself. Behind him, Mara and the others walked with new confidence, almost like the path had given them something instead of taking something away. The room outside grew silent. Every soldier, every scientist, every witness stared in disbelief. The High Lord finally forced his voice out, but it cracked slightly. How did you survive? Raylan answered, your path showed us our fears. But we have lived with fear all our lives. We know it well. The High Lord shook his head violently. No. No, that is impossible. Fear destroys. It breaks the mind. Mara stepped closer. Only if the mind is weak. The guards flinched as if she had slapped them. No one spoke like that in the Dominion. No one said such words in front of the High Lord. But humans were not like other species. Suddenly, the floor beneath them vibrated. Soft lights flickered across the walls. The Dominion systems came to life, reacting to the humans' presence. A symbol appeared in the air, an ancient symbol no one had seen in thousands of years. The scientists gasped. High Lord, the system is marking them as worthy. No, the High Lord almost growled. The system is broken. This is not possible. But the energy around the humans kept rising. The mirror path was still active, still watching them, still interested in them. It was as if the old intelligence inside the path had not finished its examination. A deep voice spoke again, echoing through the chamber walls, the same ancient voice from inside the path. Every Dominion soldier fell to one knee, terrified, because this voice belonged to the first ruler, a being long dead but whose mind still lived inside the station. You have found the humans, the voice said. Do not harm them. The High Lord's eyes widened. What? But why? Who are they? The voice replied, they are what we once feared, and what we once hoped for. Raylan stood straight. Why? What do you know about us? The ancient voice answered, your kind is old. Older than you remember. You were shaped by storms, by fire, by endless trials. Your world forged you with pain, and with hope. The humans exchanged confused looks. None of them expected the Dominion's ancient system to speak as if it knew Earth. The High Lord tried to take control again. Enough. I control this station. You will return to your ship and... But before he could finish, the walls flickered again. The chamber shifted. New symbols appeared on every surface. Protocol ascend, the system announced. The scientists froze. The guards gasped. The High Lord stepped back in fear. Deactivate it, he shouted. We can't, the scientists screamed. It's overriding our commands. The energy surged toward the humans. For a moment, it looked like lightning weaving through the air. It wrapped around them gently, like a hand touching old friends. Mara stepped back automatically, but the energy did not harm her. The ancient voice spoke again. Humans. You carry the flame. It has returned to us. Raylan frowned. What flame? The flame that chooses the unbroken, the voice responded. The flame that once shaped this galaxy. The Dominion guards looked at each other in panic. The flame? That myth? It is real. The High Lord tried to keep his voice firm. They are just humans. Weak creatures from a lesser world. But he did not believe his own words anymore. The humans in front of him had survived trials that broke entire civilizations. They had walked through illusions with their minds intact. They had faced their past and came out stronger. Raylan stepped closer to the High Lord. We came to talk, not to fight. You came to defy us, the High Lord spat. Raylan shook his head. No. We came because the galaxy needs change. Your rule is built on fear. Fear creates silence, not peace. The High Lord's face darkened. Peace is a lie. Only power keeps order. Raylan looked him in the eyes. Power without humanity is just cruelty. The High Lord opened his mouth to respond, but the chamber suddenly shook. A new alarm echoed across the station. This one was deeper, louder, and more urgent than all the ones before. The lights turned red. The screens around them filled with ancient symbols and warnings. Mara turned to the scientists. What's happening? The scientist trembled. A signal, a massive one, it's coming from outside Dominion space. Raylan narrowed his eyes. A distress call. No, the scientist whispered, stepping back in terror. Not a distress call. A summoning. The High Lord shouted, show it. A hologram flash appeared, an enormous, distant object, glowing red like a dying star, moving slowly toward Dominion borders. What is that? Mara whispered. The scientist shook his head. It's older than the Dominion. Older than anything we know. The ancient voice from the mirror path spoke for the last time, its tone now filled with warning instead of curiosity. Humans, they have found you. Raylan's heart dropped. Mara's breath caught. Even the Dominion guards froze. The High Lord whispered, who? Raylan answered in a low voice, staring at the approaching red light. Something we hoped never to see again. The alarm grew louder. The lights darkened. The station shook. And the Dominion finally realized something terrifying. The humans were not the danger. Something else was coming. The red light on the hologram grew brighter, as if the unknown object in space was staring directly at them. It pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and heavy, shaking the Dominion station every few seconds. The Dominion guard stepped back. Even the High Lord looked helpless, something his soldiers had never seen before. Captain Raylan stared at the screen without speaking. He knew that pulse. That rhythm. That color. It reached into his memories like claws. Mara noticed his face tighten and stepped closer. You know what that is, she whispered. Raylan nodded once, very slowly. I hoped it would never reach this side of the galaxy. The High Lord snapped, "What are you talking about? What is coming?" Raylan did not answer right away. He kept watching the red pulse. Each flash felt like a countdown. Mara swallowed hard and said, "It's not Dominion technology, and it's not human either." The scientists rushed forward, scanning the signal. Their instruments beeped wildly, unable to match the signature with any known species. "This energy pattern, it is impossible," one scientist stammered. "It reads like a living organism, but it is the size of a moon." The High Lord shouted, "Identify it." "We cannot," the scientist cried. "Our databases have nothing like it." Raylan finally spoke. "That thing is not a ship. It is a caller. A signal. It goes ahead of the real threat." The High Lord's eyes widened. "Then what is the real threat?" Raylan looked at him with calm, steady eyes, the same eyes that had walked through the mirror path without breaking. "Something that haunted humans long before we reached the stars." The station lights flickered. The ancient voice from the mirror path returned, but this time it was filled with panic. "The Red Echo has awoken. Prepare." The Dominion guards froze. They had never heard fear in the ancient voice before. One guard whispered, "Red Echo? What is that?" Another scientist dropped his scanner. "That is only a legend, something the first ruler wrote before his death." The High Lord turned sharply. "Explain." The scientist swallowed. "He wrote of a creature, a star-roaming predator, something that does not conquer worlds, but consumes minds. He said it followed the strongest species, because their fear tasted sweeter." The High Lord's voice dropped to a whisper. "A hunter of fear." Raylan's jaw tightened. "Exactly." The scientists looked between Raylan and the hologram. "Why is it coming here? Why now?" Raylan answered quietly, "Because the mirror path woke something inside us, something the Red Echo has been searching for." Mara turned to him. "You mean, us?" Raylan nodded. "Humans shine too brightly now. The mirror path amplified something in us, our resistance, our fear, our memories. That thing sensed it." The High Lord stepped back. "So it comes for you?" Raylan shook his head. "No. It comes for anyone who has fear." "Which means?" He looked around the chamber slowly. "Everyone." The station shook again. This time harder. A distant sound echoed through the metal walls, a deep, low rumble like a creature breathing. Mara felt her heartbeat match the pulses of red light. Then something unexpected happened. The ancient system spoke again, urgent, rushed. "Humans. You must lead." Raylan stared into the darkness. "Lead what?" "Lead the defense," the voice said. "The Dominion cannot face what approaches. Only those who walk with fear can survive." Raylan felt every Dominion guard's eyes on him. The High Lord looked furious. "You expect us to follow them? Humans. This is our empire." Raylan turned to him. "Empire won't save you now. Courage will." The High Lord glared. "Dominion kneels to no one." Mara stepped forward. "Good. Because we're not asking you to kneel. We're asking you to stand." The guards exchanged looks. None of them expected these small creatures from a distant blue planet to speak like leaders. But after everything they had seen, the fear aura, the trial chamber, the mirror path, they knew humans were not just another species. The station began to shake violently. Panels fell from the ceiling. The red pulse grew faster. Alarms screamed through every hallway. The scientist shouted, "It's here. At the edge of the system." The hologram zoomed out. And then they all saw it. A massive, glowing shape, like a living shadow, moving across space. Its surface rippled like liquid darkness. Its eyes, if they were eyes, glowed bright red, scanning for prey. It made no sound, but the silence felt like a scream. Mara whispered, "It's beautiful." Raylan whispered back, "It's deadly." The High Lord grabbed Raylan by the arm. "If you know something, anything, tell us how to survive." Raylan looked him straight in the eyes. "Fear doesn't kill us. Running from it does." The High Lord swallowed. For the first time, he understood. Raylan turned to his team. "Prepare the ship. We need every scanner, every weapon, every mind focused." Mara nodded. "We won't run." The ancient voice spoke one last time. "Humans, the galaxy will remember what happens next." Raylan stared at the red echo on the hologram, its red glow growing brighter, filling the entire chamber with its eerie light. He whispered, "Let's show it what humans do when fear comes hunting." The station shook. The alarms screamed. The red echo arrived. And humanity did not bow. Not this time. Not ever.